Good morning, dear students. Let's go ahead with the next part of investment decision. Today we're going to study the most important part, that is a case study on replacement project. Now in this particular case study, all the details would be given to you in a theoretical format. You have to convert it into quantitative terms and then do the necessary calculations. In the previous all videos and problems that we have solved, the quantitative data was directly been provided to you and you just used it in the method and got the solution. In this, you have to first find out the quantitative values, put it into a format and then use it in the calculation. So that is why this is very important to understand, and these type of problems normally come in the question paper as a case study for 20 marks. So let's go ahead with one such type of problem. Okay, this particular problem has appeared for more than 3 times in the final exam paper. So I have taken the same question so that you understand this question as well as similar types of questions. So let's go ahead. I'll read out the question for you and then we'll go with the solution. Teja International is determining cash flows, okay, for a project involving replacement of old machine by new machine. So from this question, it is clearly, from this particular sentence, it is very clear that the problem is related to replacement, because the word replacement appears in the question and it says replacement of old machine by new machine. That means there are 2 machines. The old machine has a book value of 8 lakh and it can be sold to realize a post-tax salvage value of 9 lakh. It has a remaining life of 5 years, after which its net salvage value is expected to be 2 lakhs. Now always remember, whenever a problem on replacement comes, there are 3 values for old machine. Your old machine would be having 3 values. Now what are those 3 values? The 3 values are, one is this 8 lakh, which is the current book value. Okay, so as per your books or as per the books of Teja International, the current book value is 8 lakh rupees. It can be sold to realize a post-tax salvage value of 9 lakhs. That means if you want to sell this machine right now, you can sell it for 9 lakh rupees. Though the book value is 8 lakh, you can sell it for 9 lakh. So current salvage value is given. And it has a remaining life of 5 years. That means it can be used for further 5 years, after which its salvage value would be 2 lakhs. So this is your future salvage value. So always remember, in a replacement project for an old machine, there would be 3 values which will be given. One is the current book value, the current salvage value and the future salvage value. Now how do we use it? Where do we use it? We'll see when we are going ahead with the solution. Next, the new machine. Now this was all about your old machine. Now the new machine costs rupees 30 lakhs. It is expected to fetch a net salvage value of 15 lakh. That means currently if you want to purchase, it is 30 lakh rupees. That is the initial investment. After the life of the asset, it would be 15 lakhs. After 5 years, the machine is expected to bring a savings of 6,50,000 rupees. Okay, now this is very important. If you implement that new machine, then you are expected to get a net savings of 6,50,000 rupees. That means you will be saving 6,50,000 rupees. This is just like a revenue to you in manufacturing cost other than depreciation. So depreciation is not considered in this 6,50,000 rupees. The working capital required for new machine is 5 lakh. The tax and depreciation, it's not tax. The depreciation applicable to both machines is 25% under WDV method. Estimate the cash flow for the replacement project if tax rate is 25%. So if this problem comes in the paper, how do we solve it? Okay, so let's go for the solution. Okay, so if you see, I have just written down what is the data provided. So the problem is related to Teja International. Okay, and as I said, for old machine there would be 3 values which would be given. Which are those three values? The current book value, which is 8 lakh rupees, current salvage value, which is 9 lakh rupees, and future salvage value, which is 2 lakh rupees. Now please remember how and where do we use it. The current book value, okay, I am talking about only old machine, okay, old machine. The current book value would be used to calculate depreciation. The current salvage value would be used as initial cash flow, and the future salvage value would be used in terminal cash flow. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. There are three values for old machine which are given. What are those three values? The current book value, current salvage value, and future salvage value. Where do we use it? The current book value would be used to calculate depreciation. The current salvage value would be used in initial cash flow, whereas the future salvage value would be used in the terminal cash flow. Okay, so please remember these values, these effects. Now the current book value given to us is 8 lakh, which would be taken under depreciation to calculate depreciation. Current salvage value is 9 lakh, which we take under initial investment, and future salvage value we take it under the terminal cash flows. Whereas for new machine there would be two values given, that is the current book value, which is your initial investment, and the future salvage value, which is your terminal cash flow. Okay, so 30 lakhs, that is current book value, will come under initial cash flow, whereas this 15 lakhs, which is salvage value, will come under the terminal cash flow. Okay, so this is how you interpret the data provided. Now let's move ahead with the solution. Okay, so how many years the life is given? As 5 years. So we start with 0, which is initial investment, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, now it is not different from what we have done earlier. Okay, in the earlier problems we used to write vertically 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, for better understanding and to have clarity, we have just converted into a horizontal format. That's it. That is the only difference. Okay, so don't get confused with this problem and the previous problems that we have solved. Now, initial cash flow. What all things should be included in initial cash flow? The initial cash flow should include investment in fixed assets and investment in working capital. Now since this is replacement project, here there would be investment in fixed assets new and investment in working capital new, plus investment in fixed asset old and working capital old. So there would be old, new. And always remember, when we are talking about replacement project, it is always new minus old. We have to consider only the incremental cash flows, that is new minus old. Okay, so let's go ahead. As I said, it is fixed assets and current assets, or fixed asset and working capital, that we have to consider. Okay, so first thing is value of new machine, that is fixed asset, which is 30 lakhs. It is given over here. Then plus net working capital. So net working capital of the new machine is already given to us, which is 5 lakhs. So 5 lakh is your working capital for the 5 lakh is the working capital for the new machine, so that we have to consider. Okay, that we have considered over here. So total comes to 30 plus 5, that is 35 lakhs. Then as I said, we have to also consider the old machine, old investment, but it is always new minus old. So new minus old means it is incremental. So first is minus value of old machine. So what is the current salvage value? We have to consider the current salvage value. So current salvage value of new old machine is 9 lakh. So that 9 lakh has to be considered over here. I have already explained you how do we use these three values. Okay, so the current salvage value will come under initial cash flow. So minus old machine 9 lakh, which comes to 26 lakhs, minus old working capital. Now in this particular problem, old working capital is not given, so it would be dash. Otherwise we have to mention that value over here. Now since old working capital is not given, So 26 lakhs minus nil is 26 lakhs itself. Now what is this 26 lakhs? That is your initial cash flow. If you remember, we used to write 0 and CFAT. We used to write something as 26 lakhs, let's say. Okay, so this is what this represents. Okay, 26 lakhs is your initial cash flow. Then coming to your operating cash flows. In the operating cash flows, first we consider interest savings in cost. Okay, the savings in cost, it's not so clearly visible, but understand this is savings in cost. So how much is the savings in cost? It has been given in the problem, which is 6,50,000 every year. So 6,50,000 every year for 5 years. Then we consider it is excluding depreciation. If you remember the problem, okay, I'll just go back to the problem, and if I show you over here, it says 6,50,000 annually in manufacturing cost other than depreciation. That means that 6,50,000 does not include depreciation. So the next step would be calculating depreciation. Okay, now here depreciation is not your normal depreciation that we calculate on one machine and do it. It is always incremental depreciation. Now what is incremental depreciation? Incremental depreciation is nothing but depreciation on new machine. Okay, depreciation on new machine minus depreciation on old machine. Okay, so this is how you calculate incremental depreciation. That is depreciation charge on the new machine minus depreciation charge on the old machine. Whatever value you get, that is called as incremental depreciation. Okay, so let's understand this calculation of incremental depreciation. Okay, so if you see here, in incremental depreciation, what I have done is I have divided it into two parts. One is old machine, new machine, and incremental depreciation. Okay, now in old machine, as I said, we have to consider the current book value, because depreciation is always calculated on the book value. So what is the current book value of the old machine? Okay, it's already mentioned over here. If you see, 8 lakh is the current book value. Okay, and I'm repeating, 9 lakh we have already considered in initial cash flow, so that is gone. Now current book value, we are considering it for incremental depreciation. So what is the current book value? It is 8 lakh. So depreciation is at 25%. So 8 lakh into 25% is 2 lakh. Okay, so depreciation for the first year is 2 lakh. What is the written down value for the second year? It is 8 lakh minus 2 lakh gives you 6 lakh. Now again on 6 lakh 25%, 1,50,000. So 6 lakh minus 1,50,000 gives you 4,50,000. Again 25% depreciation, so 4,50,000 into 25% is 1,12,500. So 4,50,000 minus 1,12,500 gives you 3,37,500. On that again depreciation 25%, 84,375 deducted from the written down value. So 3,37,500 minus 84,375, you get 2,53,125, and on that again you calculate depreciation at 25%, which is 63,281. Fair enough. In the similar way, we have to calculate depreciation for the new machine. Now what is the value of the new machine? Yes, the initial investment is 30 lakhs. On that 25%. So 30 lakhs, 25% is 7,50,000. So 30 lakhs minus 7,50,000 is 22,50,000. On 22,50,000 again 25% is 5,62,500. So 22,50,000 minus 5,62,500 gives you 16,87,500, and so on. You calculate depreciation for 5 years. Now once you have calculated depreciation for the old machine and depreciation for the new machine, we have to go ahead to calculate the incremental depreciation. Now how do we calculate incremental depreciation? It is depreciation on new machine minus depreciation on old machine. So 7,50,000 minus 2 lakh is 5,50,000. 5,62,500 minus 1,50,000 gives you 4,12,500. 4,21,875 minus 1,12,500 gives you 3,09,375. 3,16,406 minus 84,375 gives you 2,32,031. and 2,37,304 minus 63,281 gives you 1,74,023. So this is how we calculate the incremental depreciation. Now once you calculate the incremental depreciation as a working note, we have to go back to the problem and use those values. Okay, so if you see here, I have taken the incremental depreciation as per the working note, that is 5,50,000, 4,12,500, 3,09,375, 2,32,031 and 1,74,023 or 23. Once I calculate incremental depreciation, then we have to deduct it from the savings in manufacturing cost. So 6,50,000 minus 5,50,000 is 1 lakh. 6,50,000 minus 4,12,500 is 2,37,500. Then 6,50,000 minus 3,09,375 is 3,40,625. 6,50,000 minus 2,32,031 gives you 4,17,969. And 6,50,000 minus 1,74,023 gives you 4,75,097. So we have deducted depreciation. So what do we get after deducting depreciation? We get cash flows after depreciation but before tax, because we have not yet deducted tax. So it is cash flows after depreciation before tax. Now the next step is deduct tax. Now how much is the tax rate? Tax rate given to us is 25%, which we have seen in the question. So tax rate is 25%. So 25% on what? 25% on CFA DBT. That is cash flows after depreciation before tax. That is 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 37,500, 3 lakh, 40,625 and so on. So on that we have to calculate 25%. So 1 lakh into 25% is 25,000. 2,37,500 into 25% gives you 59,375. 3,40,625 into 25% gives you 85,156 and so on. You get the tax. Once you calculate tax, deduct the tax. Once you deduct tax, what do you get? Cash flows after depreciation and tax. Okay, CFA DT. We have seen this in the previous problem, CFA DT. That is cash flows after depreciation and tax. So 1 lakh minus 25,000 is 75,000. 2,37,500 minus 59,375 gives you 1,78,125 and so on for all the years. Okay. Once we calculate the cash flows after depreciation and tax, we have to add back depreciation, if you remember, to calculate CFAT. So now we have to add back depreciation. So 75,000 plus 5,50,000 gives you 6,25,000. Then 1,78,125 plus 4,12,500 gives you 5,90,625. 2,25,468 plus 3,09,375 gives you 5,64,843 and so on for all the years. So once you calculate this, this is called as CFAT, or also called as total operating cash flow. This is your B. Okay, so A is initial cash flow, B is your CFAT, that is operating cash flows. The last part of the cash flow statement, cash flows is estimation of cash flows, is the terminal cash flow. So always remember, a project can be divided into three parts. Okay, one is initial. Okay, second is the operating. This is your operating. Okay, initial is this is your initial cash flow. Okay, then this would be your operating cash flows, and the last year would be your terminal cash flows. Okay, so all the cash flows have to be divided into three parts, which we have done in this solution also. First part is initial cash flow, second part is operating cash flow, and third part is terminal cash flow. Now what comes in terminal cash flow? In terminal cash flow, first thing that we consider is, again, it is new minus old. Okay, under new what will come? Salvage value of asset and recovery of working capital. Okay, recovery of working capital. In the similar way, for old also it would be salvage value and recovery of working capital. But always remember, it is new minus old. Okay, so salvage value of new machine, Okay, what is the salvage value of new machine? It's already given over here. If you see, it's 15 lakhs. So 15 lakhs only in the last year. Okay, terminal cash flows are considered only in the last year. I have explained you that. Then less salvage value of old machine. I have told you it's new minus old. So less salvage value of old machine, which is 2 lakhs. So 15 lakhs minus 2 lakhs gives you 13 lakhs. Then it is recovery of working capital. Recovery of working capital, again it is new minus old. So what is the recovery of working capital? New, it is 5 lakh, and old working capital is not given. If you see here, it's nil, it's not given, so we don't consider that for terminal cash flow. So what would be your final answer? It would be 15 lakhs minus 2 lakhs is 13 lakhs. 13 lakhs plus 5 lakh is 18 lakhs. So your terminal cash flow would be 18 lakhs. Okay, so once we calculate all these three parts, the next step is, once we calculate all these three cash flows, that is initial cash flows, the operating cash flows and the terminal cash flows, the next part is integrate all these three. Okay, for that let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so what I've done over here is I have written down all the values again. Okay, if you see particulars 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, initial cash flow, yes, we have got 26 lakhs as the initial cash flow. Then operating cash flow, it is, I have taken directly CFAT or the total operating cash flow, that is nil, it is not there in the first year. So 6,25,000, 5,90,625, 5,64,843, 5,45,507 and 5,31,105. And I have also considered the terminal cash flow. So terminal cash flow is 18 lakhs only for the last year. Once we have all these three parts, that is A, B and C, finally we have to calculate the total cash flows. Okay, so what is this total cash flows? It is A plus B plus C. So A is 26 lakhs for 0 period, 26 lakhs, nil and nil. So it would be 26 lakhs minus, because it is outflow, initial cash flow is outflow, so minus. Then for year 1 it is nothing in the initial cash flow, nothing in the terminal cash flow, so 6,25,000 as it is, 5,90,625 as it is, 5,64,843 as it is, and 5,45,507 as it is. But in the last year, A is nil, B is 5,31,105, 5,31,005, and C is 18 lakhs. So we have to add these two. Okay, that is 5,31,005 plus 18 lakhs gives you 23,31,005. So this would be your terminal cash flow. So ultimately we had to estimate the cash flows. So these are the estimated cash flows. In some problems, they may further extend the problem to calculate NPV. Now we have already studied how to calculate NPV. So same procedure continues over here. Okay, I'll just tell you how do we do it. Now here, how many years are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 years, correct? So to calculate NPV, we need cash flows. So this would be 26 lakhs. Then this would be 6,25,000. That is these values that we are considering over here. Okay, for second year, third year, fourth year and fifth year. So these are the values that we are going to consider in a vertical format. Then find out the present value factors. If you remember, if it is at 10%, then we find out the present value factor at 10%, 0.909, 0.826, 0.751 and so on. Okay, and then we multiply these cash flows with these present value factors and ultimately find out the present values of cash flows. So once we find out the present values of cash flows, we find out the summation of it, summation of present values of cash flows, and then minus initial investment. What is the initial investment? It is 26 lakhs. So present values of summation of present values of cash flows minus initial investment will give you NPV. So this is not expected in this particular problem because they have just asked us to estimate the cash flows. So we have estimated the cash flows, but in some problems they may ask you to find out NPV or ARR or your payback period, anything in the as further problem. Okay, so that in that case you have to find out NPV, cannot stop at this point. I hope you're clear with this case study. Okay. Okay, I have elaborated all the issues and all the things which are there in this case study. Okay, kindly go through this case study, try to solve it. In the assignment, I'll be sharing one more sheet with you along with this video, where there are problems related to investment decision. I expect you to solve these problems, and in the next week we'll have a Zoom meeting where we can discuss the issues related to investment decision. Thank you. Happy learning.